Taoist Magic Talk Show brought to you by Taoist Master จี师傅 and Teen Dragon Taoism ผู้亮天尊 Hi everyone, welcome back to the show. This is your จี师傅 here again, and today this episode of the podcast is going to be about exorcism as the main topic because a lot of people are more interested in listening to things related to that kind of stuff. Like, hey, what do you like? What have you encountered? How is, like the real ghosts and demons and these things work? And like, how do they work? And why are they bad for human beings? Because in the movies, a lot of movies actually implant the concept that, hey, you know what? Ghosts can be good too. Like they're like human, they can be good to you and not just bad to you. And some people will have that mindset of like, hey, what if your grandmother died or your father died, and then why, like if they're good to you, right? And they came back to you, why should you be like scared of them? Like, they're good to you. They're like your relative. They're supposed to be helping you, right? Well, you know what? You got it all wrong. You got it totally all wrong. Okay. And I have to say, these movies and, well, there are websites, books, and stuff like that too that talks about the same kind of concept. It's actually very, very, very misleading and dangerous to you. And here is why. So, let's say you just died, right? You just died. You entered a new world. You're not supposed to know what the hell that is, right? You're not supposed to know how that things work. It's a new world. It has like everything is new to you, right? And think about it. Like you just entered a new world and like everything works totally different. You must be in shock, right? And so why do you think you have the ability to like somehow travel back, find your relative, and then quote, quote, help them? Like, don't you need help more than your relatives? Your relatives are alive. They are living in a world that they have been there for like quite a long time. They're okay, and you suddenly decided that you can help people while you're the one that actually need more help because you don't know what's going on, right? Well, there you go. That's the logic of it. But you know what? There's more, okay? I'm going to tell you more. Well, let's go a little bit deeper in the spiritual world and understand how these spiritual stuff, these beings work. And the thing is, was that ghost actually your relative? Or quote, quote, the ghost, okay? Quote. It's not actually the ghost. Okay. So, I'm talking with my experience here because I have been through these things and I help people to solve these problems, and while I also provide exorcism service, right? So people come to me for help and I help them, and I have fought through a lot of these. So I know what they are by experience. And I would tell you that a lot of books in Taoism will not talk about it like how I do. Because, well, like the people who are alive right now and teaching Taoism, a lot of them, like majority of them, are what I call preacher. Like they teach according to the dead books and they have no experience themselves. So basically what the books say, they just tell you what that is and that's it, They don't really actually see it themselves. They don't actually deal with it themselves. And there are people who actually deal with it, and these people who deal with it, they don't have like a PhD or something, right? So they won't be like writing books and then getting famous, going on YouTube, being a creator like me, like showing people the stuff. These are like older generation. They just I know my stuff. I help people who come to me. That's it. That's the end of my life. They don't care about getting famous, getting big, or even like showing it to more people on the internet. They don't care. So you won't hear about these people. So for me, I am kind of different. Because why? Because I am more like the internet type, right? So I'm not as old as those people. And, well, I like helping people through the internet because it allows more people from all other countries to find me. And it's just much better than local. The local is like so quiet. I have had the temple right here in Markham, Toronto, Markham. Okay, I had a temple for 10 years. And I would tell you that the circle that you will see is very small. Like, yeah, there are people, but very little people who actually need help. And those people who come, not like they need help, but it's like small stuff, not big stuff. And those that actually need big help, they are not going to be like wanting to go to you in person. It's kind of scary, like that. So internet is kind of nice because people can like email you first and just see, try to talk to you a few times, see what happened. And if they like it, they feel comfortable, they ask you for the service and you help them and get the problem solved. And I personally think that is easier for people to start a case like that than like actually going to somewhere physically. Anyway, the market is also bigger, of course. More people are coming for help. So anyway, going into the topic, okay, of the spiritual stuff. So most of the people who actually saw their relatives coming back to them are actually not seeing their relatives. What they are seeing is a higher level spirit, which we call, there's a specific name, okay? You can call them the negative God, evil God. Okay, like just give it a name. But they are like, kind of like gods to human. Like they are not, how do you say it? Like they are higher than human in a higher dimension. So most human would actually like encounter these and call them gods because they are higher dimension. But they are not your ancestor, okay? They are not ghosts. They are a form of living being that is in a world that is before this world exists. So in a way we can say they are a pre-heaven beings to us. Like their world exists before this world. Okay? In their world, it's very different from this world. The matter, like how things work, it's like almost totally the opposite. Well, here you see, every one of us is a living being. We are solid, and light from outside bounce onto us. We reflect the light and people can see us, right? There's no light from external sources. Everything that exists are like self-illuminated, like they glow, okay? Now, you can look at your monitor and your monitor is black, right? You turn on the computer, you can see stuff. Because why? Because it glows. So it's kind of like that kind of glow. It's not like, wow, you glow and then it's like you look into a flashlight, very blinding, that kind of glow, okay? Glow as in like you will have color, you will exist, you will be visible, right? So that is how that world works. In that world, you can call that the spiritual dimension, but to us, it is spiritual because it's, most of us will think spiritual as like, oh, it's not physical, right? You cannot touch it. But in that world, if you are a person, okay, in that world, you will be feeling exactly like here. Like it's a real world right there. It's just like a real world here. But there, it's another world. And you feel 100% real, solid, and physical while you're there. And of course, to us, it is like non-physical because we are not in that world. We don't live in that world. We don't belong to that dimension. So to us, they're kind of like not existing, like they're kind of not physical, right? Okay, so in their world, everyone self-illuminate. They glow. Some people here might encounter these or kind of know a bit about them, and they call them the light beings. There's this term too. I saw some people describe it like that, and so I thought that is a nice term to use to describe these things as well. But then these people don't understand the full story about these light beings or the spiritual beings. They see them as like gods, higher beings, or something that can help you, right? To me, it's not. I went through that stage of thinking that they can help you, but well, obviously it was not the case. So, okay, first of all, why do they glow? Because in that world, everyone exists, and they can be seen, they glow, they illuminate because of their soul energy. Okay? Your soul energy. So we have to introduce some new stuff here, new terms. Your soul, okay, in that world, or even here, your soul has little particles inside. You can call them the soul essence. They are like little dots, little particles, okay? And then these particles gathers up, they become a kind of foggy energy, cloud-looking form. And this cloud-looking form, we call that the soul energy. Okay, good. Now you understand, right? It's kind of like in science when we say like light, they're like light particles and like that. So kind of like that. So what's that name called? Photon, right? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so light particle. Anyway, my science is bad, but okay. Get back to the soul thing. Okay. So in the same area, like same area. Okay. You pack in more particles, then it becomes more powerful and energetic. So so the soul will glow, like will show light when it gets more and more energetic, and up to a point like you can say the more powerful or energetic it is, the more vibrant, the more colorful, the more glowing the light is. Just like you see more voltage, brighter the light, kind of like that. Okay. Now, if your area is bigger, okay, like let's say double the area, but you still have the same amount of essence inside, then, well, obviously it's kind of more diluted, right? So you're not as bright. So the soul look like the body look more faint in color, more pale, or less glowing bright, okay, like that. So you get the idea, right? So the energy, the cloud form, okay, when it is not as energetic, it looks like you try to burn a candle for a while, and then you extinguish the candle, blow it out, pooh, and then you see some smoke in the air, right? Very faint smoke, like incense smoke, right? Very faint. Your soul energy will be in that state, very faint. Now, if your soul energy is very energetic, it gets more solid looking, and it gathers up, like it starts to become a more solid or formed shape. Like when you see the clouds, there are some clouds that looks like they're like one piece, right? Like a pillow, right? That's like a solid cloud. There are clouds that look like, just a hazy layer, right? That's like a very scattered cloud. Okay, so you now understand how the soul thing works, right? Good. Everyone there appears, like everyone in that world, they appears with their soul body. And they look just like living beings. They look like how we look like. Just that some of them might have different colors. The colors of their skin is actually changeable. They can change. Like they have a default look, right? Everyone has a default face and look. But they can change it if they want. They don't need to do a surgery. It's like you just need to feel, think that way, and then you want to change your face, then your look will change. It's kind of like on the internet, you entered a forum and then you want to change your profile picture, you can just put a new JPEG on it, right? So here's like they can, with their intention, they can make a look, make some kind of faces, make some kind of a color, whatever design, and then change their outlook for whatever reason. So if they want to show, for example, someone in that world, they feel very scared, and they want to show their powers to repel the bad guys, they will turn into like a monster-looking, scary-looking thing, and they don't look like a human form anymore. They will look like very scary form, right? They look like a monster that can like eat you up any day, right? So that is like one of the ability everyone has, which you can call shape-shifting. Everyone can do it. Even a child can. It's like part of their world. They can do that. Well, here we can also do the same. But here, because we are like a materialistic world, so we do it by putting things on our body. Look, in here, the light source, like the actual light from the sun or whatever, is outside, and they go on our body so we can be seen. So if we want to change our look and things, we take element from the outside and then we can put it on our body. Think about it this way. In the ancient time, every tribe has like makeup, right? Body painting and putting on mask, and then you like wear some skulls and horns and whatever, right? You can imagine how people dress up in the old days. If they want to show their enemy that they are like very deadly, they put on a mask, they decorate their body, and they look like devils, right? Something scary, right? We do that too. But in the spiritual world, they don't take things from the outside. Everything is born from the inside. It's the exact opposite of this world. Okay? So they just need to use their imagination, their own soul energy, and they can shape shift. They can do all the design and cosmetic with their own power. And even better, you know what? Here, you want a chair to sit on. You have to buy a chair or make one, right? Every element is outside of our body. We have nothing with us. There, it's not like that. You see, if you play the same game, and now you know, it's also born from the inside. So you can make things, like actually make, like magically, make it bling, and then it appears. You can make anything as long as you can imagine it. So you imagine a chair, and ding, there goes a chair. However, there's a cost. Here, everything costs money and time, right? There, well, it costs time too, but it costs a form of money. That money is your soul energy. You see, I said before, the bigger the area with the same amount of particles, the soul is more like diluted, more like weaker and scattered, right? Because you it's kind of like in the same room, you put 10 people. Now, a double-sized room, and you still have 10 people. Obviously, it gets loose, right? So when you create one item, it means that your size, or you can say like the overall space, that your soul is covering is bigger. Then your soul particles need to spread out a bit more. That means that translates to simply saying you can make anything you want, but you're using your soul energy, your life, to make these things. The more you make, the weaker you get. Hey, so now there goes the problem. It's like the more I buy, the more money I lose. So how can I keep buying things and, not get so hurt, right? I have limited amount of money. So there you go. You need more money. I need money, right? So people have desire here, then they will want to have more money because that way you can fulfill more desire. You want to buy more things, get more food, then you can basically get the money, and then, you earn money and you can pay for it. There, you use the soul energy to create stuff. So as long as you can have a way to have more of that soul energy, soul particle, whatever you want to call those, right? Then as long as you can harvest or earn these things or even steal these things, then you become the next Bill Gates, the next Steve Jobs. Hey, you're like the next billionaire. You have a way to make more money because money equals the soul energy in that world. As long as you can keep making more, then you will be like forever rich. And of course, if you have more, you can also spare for others. And if you can spare for others, you can feed others. Just like here, you build a business, you earn more money than people who work for others. You can hire people, right? Da-da. So, what is the way of getting rich in the spiritual world? Let me tell you. This is where the most secret agenda lies. And a lot of these spiritual encounter people don't know, because you won't know until you figure it out yourself one day, like me, went through all that crap and fought your way back out. It's scary shit. But anyway, what happened is a lot of these evil, well, you can call them evil, but they're not actually that evil. They're just doing what they do as, as their species. So these spiritual beings, okay, what do? They will try to contact other beings, other people, such as us. They contact other living beings, and then they will trick them into building things like a religion. And then what happened is, well, they get soul energy. They do exchange with people. They say, you give me, like you do these, right? And then I'll help you. So if you can, like, for example, you go there and pray and do your praying and such, right? Every week you go do that. The God there, those beings, they will say, okay, you are a good believer. You're a good guy here, member, right? I help you, make you like good luck, give you some opportunities for getting a new job, or whatever things. They can help you by giving you a little bit of help. But then at the same time, they are also getting things from the people who are worshiping them. They get their soul energy. When people are like, don't stop praying and such, they loot you up. And then what's even better, the ultimate goal. When you die, they will just grab everything. That's right. When you die, right, you remember, when you die, you will be looted. Like your whole thing will be going there. So you will be part of their world, fueling their world to run. And, well, that's a way to harvest soul energy. A lot of people who have spiritual encounter and say, they saw their ancestor and such, most of them is falling into this same category. because it's the same game being played over and over again. Well, okay, if you think that, hey, like, do they like always have to like target at the human being? Well, they don't. There, they also have other kinds of things that goes on inside their own world. For example, you can be gambling, you can be playing games, you can be doing deals, and you can even be robbing others. Okay, let's say you use your soul energy in that world, right? You use your soul energy and you created something. Oh, you created a toy, maybe a little toy to play. And then someone else came by and they said, oh, that's so nice, right? They can buy it. Once they own that toy, the toy is not belonging to the creator anymore, right? And so those soul energy actually becomes like a property of another person. You can buy these things like that. You can trade. You can trade. Like, well, you made a toy. The other guy made some food. You guys can trade. And those will be like soul energy trading for soul energy. And you might earn sometimes. You might lose sometimes. There's like their own way of how the market works right there. So basically like business. But there are also people who kill. When you kill another spiritual being, you can grab everything they got. So there are people who does that. And there are also people who go around and they gather up people, like they gather up a whole team of people, you know, like a gang. And then they start conquering over other groups. And then eventually they will consume them, or they will be getting slaves. And then when they have the slaves, they can harvest their soul energy. It's not that hard. All you need to do is torture the slave. Because when the slave gets very emotional, like they scream, they get scared, and so on, right? And you can like, you know, make them high up and drop them way low and like that. Like, and you can torture them, right? Make them super happy, and then super worried, super sad, and then super hyper, super high, you know, like that. It's just like making you crazy. As long as your emotion is like going up and down in like big range, you are like releasing a lot of your soul energy. And they do have a lot of torture like that to torture people for soul energy, like to harvest the soul energy. And of course, they let you rest, right? So you can recover. They let you rest. You recover, and then they juice you up again. They do that to their own worlds, beings, as a way to like loot or harvest the soul energy. But they also do that to a human being. So when you believe in them and somehow you died and they just happen to be there to welcome you to their world, you might become someone who will enjoy their service, you know, like how they harvest soul energy. So they'll put you on there, get you through those torture, you know, and there you go. You become something in that world that is like, you know, you're kind of like a plant. Yeah, you put in the factory, and then they keep torturing you, juice you up, feed you back, torture you, you know, like that. And well, to them it's like very natural because that's what they have been doing for a long time. So if you happen to be in that group and you just died, and that, well, too bad. You got there. There goes your hell. And so, because they want, what they want is your soul energy at the end, right? To become their money. So they would need you to believe them. They would need a lot of believers. They would need a lot of people who are willing to contribute their soul energy. They would tell you to do things to open up yourself. For example, a famous one. They will tell you to sit, empty yourself, be like mindless, you know, like don't think of anything. And then just open up yourself. Let yourself be like free and then they tell you to kind of like quote meditate. And then during that time, you get a lot of like body movement and shaking the body and jumping up and down, things like that. Well, that's the time when they're looting you and you don't even realize. And then there are some groups that got in contact with these things, and they will tell you, hey, you know what, we can teach you magic. They can possess you. And there goes some spiritual possession. Whenever that medium, that got possessed, after the thing is like gone, you feel like totally drained. You feel like you're emptied. Why? Well, because they just looted your whole body. And the funny thing is, this medium gets all the soul energy from the believer. And then that thing enters the medium, loot everything inside him, and go away. And while that thing is inside the medium, they just need to put on a show. One thing that you don't know, here we have physical feeling, so we feel pain. There, in that world, they don't. They don't have the physical feeling, like pain. They don't have pain. So to them, they always say this, humans are so weak because you fear pain. And they always want to demonstrate to you guys that we are gods, we are powerful, because we don't fear pain. And so what happened? Well, they will demonstrate by possessing onto a human being. So you kind of like feel, like if you get possessed, you feel like you're kind of like you're not inside your body. It feels like someone took your seat. Like you're driving a car, someone hijacked your car and sit in the driving seat and push you to the side. It feels like that. So you're like one of the person who got possessed, right? Okay, so what will the god do? What will that thing do? They will use a lot of objects or ways to torture the physical body, because it's like, hey, that's your body, not mine. Right? And the second thing is they don't feel anything. They don't feel any pain. So you see people doing crazy things, like, for example, they will chop themselves with sharp knives. They will poke their body with sharp needles. And if you look at those parades in Malaysia and such, right, people are crazy. They like take a long metal needle, like very long. I'm talking about like 2 meters, something like that. And they poke through the cheeks, the face, the body, and some of them even hang things on those needles. They like hang a bicycle, hang some, weird things, pineapples and whatever, right? They just go crazy. Basically, it's like, it's not human. And then you look at them and you're, wow, so powerful. Oh my God, it must be the God. Yeah, well, it is, but the God is like screwing you up. And then they they will chop the body and splash blood all over the place and show you that, hey, you know what? I don't fear this shit. And then they will be showing you things like, my blood is spraying around the room to clean up the negatives, to like purify the place. Well, you look at I look at that, I only see blood stain, and blood stains are very hard to clean up. So how is that purifying and cleansing? But anyway, they will say that. And then somehow people just look at that and feel like that is not what a normal human being can do. That must be the God. And there goes the culture. They believe that is the God. Scary, huh? So after all that show, everyone believe, right? When you believe that, then you agree to be also sucked up. And then there goes the looting, right? Every time this medium get possessed or believers are involved, they all get looted up by this evil thing. And this thing at the back will still pretend to be your God. Sometimes they will still help you. And you know what? They can't really make you good luck. So what can they do? Well, it's very simple. You see, if let's say you are that thing, like you are that thing that is, that evil thing at the back, okay? So you have, let's say, 10 believers right now. one believer is very good at contributing, so you want to help this guy out and make sure he stays in the group, right? So what can you do? Well, there are two in the group who are not very loyal and they're like not contributing much. Okay, so what you can do is you can steal those luck and energies from the bad guy, the non-loyal one, or maybe their relative. Steal their luck and energy and give it to that favorite one, that one that you want to help. And that way, the person that get help will be like, wow, I really get so much better. And then they will be loudly praising in the group and making the others very like motivated to keep going and all that, right? And well, how about the two that like get very bad luck later? Well, they will say, well, they didn't get enough God's help. That's why. Now people are going to contribute more, right? They will use this kind of strategy to manipulate those human beings in the group. Well, the main point is they want to harvest and like farm the soul energy so that they can take it from us. Then they don't need to do so much over there, right? To us, the soul energy is not hard to generate or to have more. Like we can generate it fast because we can eat food from the outside. We can consume things into our body, eating, drinking, and that will replenish our soul as well. To them, they don't have that kind of ability to do so because everything there is not like here that is like physical, right? They cannot just consume like food and stuff. They need to go kill each other. It's kind of scary. So, yeah, to them, it's much harder to make more of these soul energy. And to us, it's very easy. So if they got tapped into a human being, then they target them and keep going, well, it will be very easy for them to get reach. Now you know how scary that is, right? And then you know what? A lot of these spiritual tyrants, they will love to set up scams. Scams like, it's like scammers. They will scam people here. They will pretend to be your ancestor. They will pretend to be your whoever. I had a disciple who came back, who ordained this year. When he first came in, he had a spiritual case. He had like an attack from these things. And he said he cannot even sleep because those things were haunting him and like giving him such a hard time and making him go crazy. And you know what? The first week that he got ordained, he was still like waiting for my help, my food to arrive. So he was still under attack. And those things can like even shape shift and then turn into like a me. Like they actually impersonate me. And then he sees like in spiritual form, like I am talking to him, telling him things. And I'm like, no, I didn't do that. Okay, that's not me. And those things can like impersonate like almost anyone that you know. So how hard it is for them to impersonate your grandparents or your ancestors or your wife, whatever. Very simple, because they can read your memory. They can read minds. They can hijack that. So if they want to control you, they can be like putting on a whole setup, pretending to be this and that, and they can even like show you things to prove that they're the real one. For example, they can be telling you things like, for example, your father used to run a company when he was alive, okay? Then this thing, that evil thing, want to pretend to be your father who came back, right? Came back to you. They will be asking about, hey, how's my company doing? How's John? Like that. They will say things to convince you that they're the actual person. And, well, That's the whole thing. The goal is to make you believe that they can harvest the soul energy out of you. Scary, huh? Just because they want to get rich, then they will do all kinds of things to the human being here to harvest, to scam for the soul energy. Scary things. Okay, so now you understand more about these spiritual things, how these things work. So, how about exorcism? How does it work? Exorcism. How do we, like our power that we use with our Taoist magic, how does that work on them? How do they feel when they get attacked or when they encounter our magic power? Well, the show is about to be over. Timer is almost up. But I will say a little bit, today, just not to hang you in the middle. Okay, so for example, if you have taped a full talisman, okay, that paper, if you tape one of those, that is written by me, okay, you tape one of those near the door, the main door, the entrance of your house, and if we kicked out the evil thing to the outside, and if they want to go back into the house, the area of the house, they will feel that there's a wall of fire burning and they cannot touch it. And if you carry a fu on your body, that is for like protection, right? To repel the evil things. Well, to them, without the fu, you look like just the normal you. You have your soul body right there, and they can see the soul body. They cannot see the physical body. They can see your soul body. Okay, so it's not like, well, even if you're like, let's say you're naked, you're not putting on any clothing. To them, it looks the same. They only look at your soul body. So your physical body, how you look, to them, they cannot really see it. They can see your soul body, okay? If you have one of the fu on your body, like you wear that fu on your neck or something, to them, you look like a huge fireball. You are glowing, you're hot, you're untouchable. And they don't want to be around you because it feels uncomfortable to be around you. Imagine, I tell you now, like there's a burning live fireplace, like a lot of fire going on and such. And then I want you to like go sit near it, while the fire is very hot. You don't feel good too, right? Same thing to these things. If you have a protection fu on your body, your whole soul body look like a fireball. They don't want to come near you. That's why it works, right? The magic power will create that effect and then back off the evils. So these magical powers that we use in Taoist magic, they actually have a very vivid effect on these things. And that's why when we're doing exorcism and things like that, we know like what works, what doesn't, because we can see it. We actually can have the ability to see what's going on in that world. And there's a huge difference between like some wannabe exorcists trying to solve a case and end up being fooled or even attacked by the evil thing, right? At the end, they become a victim too. Compared to like me, a professional who is actually working on this for many years, and we have the power to fight these things. It's a huge difference because the result is so different. The stuff that you output, like the magic power that we can output, it causes a huge impact on the spiritual thing. And suddenly they feel like you're like a huge fireball. You cannot touch them. It's like, wow, untouchable suddenly. It's a big impact to these things. So when you are facing spiritual problems, or you think that it is your relative coming back for you or whatever, right? Don't believe what they say. Like, don't just go into believing and then do whatever they say. Because I can tell you that most of the time, it is not your relative. most of the time, they are actually those what we call evil gods or yin god, okay, like negative gods, okay, like those kind of things. They're like those kind of things, going around trying to trick people, trying to manipulate people, and harvest their soul energy. So, if you are worried or if you have a case like that and you want it to be resolved, you should stop trying to self-help. You can come to me for help. You can email me and tell me what happened and I can help you out. Okay? But you know what? Do not self-help. If you already got hit, you are already proven to be weaker than that thing, which means you have no way to win. You need someone with a cultivated and stronger kind of power who can help you fight back these things. And we Taoists cultivate our magic power to deal with these problems, to deal with these spiritual things. So there you go. If you have any problems, any case at your back, feel free to find me for help. And that's it for this episode. Time is up. So maybe in the next episode, we'll talk more about these things. And so let's see what our commenters will talk about. So again, thank you everyone for sending in emails and also leaving comments to tell me what to talk about. And I really like that idea. So keep that going and we'll keep the show going as well. Okay, everyone, thanks for listening and watching. Remember to subscribe, like, share, and don't forget to go to our website, teenyetdragon.com. If you want to ordain today and become a Taoist, welcome to do so. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.